Live from Lee Jordan Field here in Chugiak, Alaska for some Alaskan Baseball League action. It's the Matsu Miners taking on the Chugiak-Eagle River Chinooks. Welcome into our broadcast, everybody. I'm Connor Mills alongside Brad Walker. Starting on the mound for the Chinooks is a University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee product, Jared Reclatus. And for the Miners from the University of Arizona, Jonathan Guardado. Local file department out here at Lee Jordan Field. They're going to have the first pitch. Get a nice and warm mascot uniform. Perfect strike.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Chugiak, Jonathan fired about Sparky, the Fire Dog.
Let's take a look at our minor starting lineup. A little change at the top. Still leading off, number 2, Drew Swift. He's going to be playing at third base. The shortstop, number 3, Tyler Bassetti, batting third in right field. Number 14, Hunter Jump. Behind the plate, number 22, David Avitia. The designated hitter, number 15, Aaron Walters. At first base, number 24, Chuniak-Eagle. Out in left field, leading the Alaskan Baseball League in batting average, number 7, Danny Wright. At second base, it's going to be number 1, Brett Owen. And out in center, number 4, Braden Merritt. They will face Jared Reclatus. He was on the mound when the Chinooks got their first win this season. They opened up with a win and are looking for their second. Standing right now, the Oilers are atop the ABL at a record of 4-1. The Matsu Miners right behind, one game behind, and tied with the Pilots. Matsu at 3-2, Pilots 4-3. Chinooks are at 1-3, and the Anchorage Bucks are sitting at 1-4. Like we said in the pregame, temperatures are ranging from 47 to 50, and as we get later on the night, we expect them to fall. Starting us off, number 2, Drew Swift. Reclatus on the mound. Swift getting ready, and the first pitch is on the inside corner for a called strike, and we are underway here at Lee Jordan Field. Reclatus, the righty, pitching into Swift, misses outside with the fastball to even up the count at 1-1. One the count, top of the first. Reclatus, the pitch, is in there for a called strike 2. We are joined in the press box by our special left-handed pitcher, Josh Haley. As the curveball into Swift is in there for a called strike 3. Swift frozen on the curveball, and that's the first out of the game.
You know, it's really rare for Drew Swift. Typically, a contact guy puts the ball in play and has done very well this season for the Miners as a leadoff hitter. I'm sure he'll shake it off and be ready to come back in his second at-bat later in the game.
And the guy he switched positions with today, the shortstop, number 3, Tyler Bassetti. He's going to lay down a bunt, fouls it straight back. Bassetti down to count 0-1. Bassetti from Nevada, Reno, Vacaville, California. 6 foot tall, 165 pounds. He takes the second pitch, swinging a grounder over to third base. He has it. Fires over to first in time, 2 away. So Bassetti is retired. Now bring up the 3 batter for Matsu Miners. Number 14, Hunter Jump. Jump in right field. Every start he's been in right field.
Jump, a guy with a lot of pop in his bat, had definitely seen some balls flown over the fence when Jump's in for batting practice.
Reclatus going from the windup, and the pitch is taken for a called strike. And the second pitch, his ground ball over to the pitcher. Reclatus, underhand toss over to first, and the side is retired. So not much happening for the Miners in the top of the first. As the first at-bats for the Chugiak-Eagle River Chinooks are coming up next. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio. Welcome into the bottom half of the first inning. Jonathan Guardado on the mound for the Matsu Miners. He's going to face off against the leadoff batter, Seth Ballinger, the center fielder for the Chinooks. Once again, I'm Connor Mills, joined by Brad Walker. And for the time being, we have a visitor, also from the University of Arizona, Josh Haley. First pitch to Ballinger is on the outside corner for a ball. Second pitch from Guardado. This one's lined over to shortstop. Bassetti can't reach it, and that'll be the first hit of the game. Seth Ballinger stands at first with a leadoff single.
Ballinger just been a really nice leadoff guy for the Chinooks, showing a nice display of hitting there, just taking the ball simply where it pitched, not doing too much with it, and lined it. And unfortunately for Bassetti, it was too quick for him to dive over and try to grab that one.
So that'll bring up the number 2 batter, Bailey Collins. Guardado. And that pitch is swung on a miss by Collins. Oh, 1 the count. Nobody out here in the bottom of the first. We're coming to you live from Lee Jordan Field here in Chugiak, Alaska. As a pitch from Guardado to Collins is too far outside. Evens up the count at 1-1. And the pitch taken for a called strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out. There's a runner on first. And the pitch to Collins is too far outside. That puts the count at 2-2. So the Miners are held scoreless in the top of the first. We're here in the bottom of the first. First at bat for Bailey Collins. as he watches a pitch go by for a ball to fill up the count at 3-2. Three-two, nobody out, runner on first. Bailey Collins at the plate, and the pitch is fouled back towards the left side and out of play.
And that foul ball is sponsored by Edwards Jones Financial Investments in Gathering.
Bollinger was on the run. So Seth Bollinger, 6 foot, 180 pounds from University of Texas at Arlington, from Carthage, Texas. He stands in against Guardado. The 3-2 is taken high for ball 4. So a leadoff single and a walk to start off Guardado's Matsu minor league career, as he will face Jordan Wharton, the third baseman for the Chinooks.
Wharton currently leading the Chinooks in hits with 7. In total, 7 for 17 on the year, so definitely been a staple in the middle of that Chinooks lineup.
Wharton has a couple ducks on the pond, one in scoring position. Seth Bollinger at second, and the first pitch is fouled off towards the right side.
And that foul ball sponsored by Labor's Local 341.
0-1 the count, nobody out here in the bottom of the first inning. Matsu Miners taking on the Chugiak-Eagle River Chinooks. And the second pitch is swung on and missed by Wharton. Guardado ahead in the count, 0-2. Nobody out. Jonathan Guardado, the right-hander, faces Jordan Wharton, batting from the right side. Looks over at second, and the pitch. This one's a pop fly, shallow left field. Coming in is Danny Wright, and he can't make the play. So they'll throw the ball in and get the force out at third, as Seth Bollinger thought Danny Wright would make the play. He dropped it, but they still getting an out anyway.
Yeah, Wright had to make a long run in there from left field. By the time he got there, with this wind kind of coming in from center, working its way to the left side behind home plate, may have misread it just a bit and tipped right outside of his glove. But luckily for the Miners, no Chinooks runners were on the move, and they were able to get an out of it.
Nick Kreutzer, the batter, as he looks to drive across a couple runs. He takes the first pitch from Guardado in for a called strike. So no damage done. Jordan Wharton is on first with a fielder's choice instead of a fly out to left. And Bailey Collins, who walked earlier in the inning, is on second. Guardado's pitch is taken too far outside. 1-1 the count, 1 out here in the bottom of the first. No score. We're here at Lee Jordan Field for the first time in the 2018 Alaskan Baseball League Summer Ball Series.
Miners trying to run a little bit of a pickoff play right there. Was read very nice there by Bailey Collins, who ran back in time before the shortstop Pozzetti could get the second.
Something we got to get adjusted to saying. Tyler Pozzetti at short. Drew Swift at third base. And the pitch from Guardado. Taken too far outside. Count sits at 2-1 to Nick Kreutzer, the designated hitter. Pitching from the stretch, Jonathan Guardado's pitch is too far low. And he's down in the count, 3-1. Kreutzer bats left, throws right. Slated at 6'4", 250 pounds, from Arkansas Pine Bluff. And it's from Westminster, Colorado. He's ahead of the count 3-1 and watches this ball in there for a called strike. So 3-2, 1 out. Runners at first and second. No score here in the bottom of the first. And the wheel pickoff throw doesn't throw it. Just keeping Bailey Collins close at second. So the count remains 3-2, 1 out. Runners at first and second. Jonathan Guardado from the stretch. The pitch fouled off towards the left side and out of play. Somebody has a nice souvenir.
Representative Dan Sadler.
Crowd really enjoying every single foul ball sponsor we've noticed so far this game.
A lot of people in the community coming out. Maybe it's their name being said.
Could be.
So the 3-2. Guardado set. And the pitch. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. Nick Kreutzer goes down swinging, and there are now 2 outs as Guardado looks to get through the bottom of the first inning unscathed.
Guardado, really nice piece of pitching there. Fell in the count 3-1, but came back with nothing but strikes. Really forced Kreutzer to foul a couple off and then got one to blow by him. Nice pitching there from Guardado in his Matsu Miners debut.
So Geron Largusa, left fielder now, is into bat. Pitch from Guardado is fouled off towards the right side and out of play.
And that foul ball is sponsored by Edward Jones Financial Investments in Gavin Reed.
Yeah, everybody in the crowd seemed to be reacting.
And it's a patient crowd, considering about just over an hour ago, it didn't look like we were going to be playing baseball. It was downpouring and pretty chilly. But the skies sort of cleared up now, and here we are on the field.
It's still chilly, but around a 30-minute rain delay. Jonathan Guardado is ahead in the count 0-1. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first, and the pickoff attempt. Brett Owen catches it as Collins goes back standing.
Really aggressive there from Collins. Really jumpy over there on second, almost begging Guardado to throw over to second. And he did, to keep Collins honest on second.
Largusa, 154 so far in the season. 353 on base percentage. And the pitch from Guardado is a curveball in the turf. Another one of these fields, half turf, half grass. Turf infield, grass outfields.
Beautiful field turf here in Chugiak.
David Avitia getting the signs down, and Guardado's pitch. This one's grounded off to the left side in foul territory.
Turf nice when you get those downpours of rain because it'll soak it up and allows for baseball to be played a lot faster than rather with a regular, normal field, I should say, where you have to drag the tarp off, make sure the field's all dry with the dirt.
1-2, 2 outs. Runners at first and second. We're here in the bottom of the first. No score. Guardado's pitch is grounded over to the left side and foul. So we'll do it all over again. Guardado, 19 years of age. Height 6'3", 205 pounds. Looking to put away Largusa to get out of the bottom of the first inning. And the pitch swung on and missed. He got him. So after allowing the first 2 base runners to get on, Jonathan Guardado works out of trouble. in a scoreless bottom of the first. 1 hit, no runs, a walk, and 2 strikeouts as the Matsu Miners are coming to the plate in the top of the second. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio. Welcome back into the broadcast. Connor Mills alongside Brad Walker. We're here with you for the entirety of the 2018 Matsu Minor season. Find ourselves in the top of the second inning. David Avitia at the plate.
Now batting for the Miners, number 22, David Avitia.
Jared Reclatus on the mound. His fastball is too high for ball one. So David Avitia, 5'11", 212 pounds from Grand Canyon. He skies this one into center field. He's turned around and makes a one-handed grab going back. So Avitia gets a hold of that one, but center fielder Bollinger is out there to make the play.
Vitia with a real nice smack of a hit, but unfortunately with that wind blowing in, like we've seen many times so far this year, it just got held up and just couldn't quite make it all the way to the wall.
So a Texas A&M product, Aaron Walters, the designated hitter, is in and takes the first pitch from Leclatus for a ball. And the second pitch to Walters is in there for a called strike. We're coming to you live from Lee Jordan Field here in Chugiak, Alaska. Curveball from Leclatus is in there for a called strike. So 1-2 the count, 1 out here in the top of the second. The 1-2. Curveball got him looking. Aaron Walters goes down with the strikeout. And the Miners are quickly down to 2 outs.
Walters did not seem too happy after that strike 3 called. Almost that nice slow walk back to the dugout.
Well, that brings up Chuniak-Eagle. Played out in left field yesterday as he swings at this first pitch, but grounds it foul on the right side. Eagle has been the regular first baseman, even though he's a natural outfielder. He swings and taps this one to the first baseman, underhand toss, and the pitcher, Leclatus, covers. So Dopp with the assist to Leclatus, and the Miners go down quietly here in the top of the second. So no hits, no runs, nobody left on base as the Chugiak-Eagle River Chinooks are coming to the plate in the bottom of the second. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio. Welcome here into the bottom of the second inning. It's the Matsu Miners away at Lee Jordan Field against the Chinooks. Their second game against the Chinooks this season. J. Paul Fullerton, the catcher, is batting now against Jonathan Guardado. The first pitch is too far outside for a ball. J. Paul Fullerton, 6'1", 205 pounds from Wabash Valley College, swings through this pitch. Evens up the count at 1-1. From Searcy, Arizona, or Arkansas, check that. 1-1, nobody out here in the bottom of the second. Pitch from Guardado is in there for a called strike. So Fullerton batting .222 on the season. On base percentage, though, of .500 as he fouls this one off to the left side. Danny Wright giving a little chase, but that goes out of the playing field. I wonder if they've practiced this before, chanting the name after every shout out for foul ball. The pitch fouled straight back.
Well, it could be a lot of excitement. It is the Chinooks home opener tonight. So a lot of fans in attendance and ready to cheer on a summer full of Chinook baseball.
44 regular season games in the Alaskan Baseball League. The pitch to Fullerton is taken low and outside. That evens up the count at 2-2.
Sort of the opposite of when we had our home opener. The Chinooks came into town. So fittingly, we are first game the Chinooks play at home.
Pitch fouled off. And to the left side, out of play. So 2-2 the count. Nobody out here in the bottom of the second. No score. Swing and a tapper over to the second baseman, Owen. He's going to have to hurry to get it, and not in time. So an infield single to J. Paul Fullerton, which will be the second hit of the game for the Chinooks.
I think Owen just sort of misread on how hot that ball was coming to him. Sort of let it come to him. Tried to make the quick throw. Nice exchange from mitt to hand, but just barely didn't get him in time.
Yeah, ball was rolling too slowly. Trying to get it.
That wet turf may have slowed it down even more.
So Danny Dopp, the first baseman, steps in on the right side. He lays down a bunt. Third baseman Drew Swift charging, throwing over to first in time. The Miners get the first out, thanks to a nice play from Drew Swift. However, that does move Fullerton over to second. And Guardado will have to deal with a runner in scoring position for the second straight inning.
We see that Swift speed showcased on that last sacrifice bunt, coming up and making the real nice play over there in the hot corner.
So one away. Luke Vandover at the plate. He takes the first pitch in from Guardado. Too far inside for a ball. The 1-0. Taken too low. 2-0. So runner on second base. We're here in the bottom of the second. Luke Vandover at the plate. The 2-0 to Vandover. Swung on and missed for strike one. Vandover also batting .222 on the season, 300 on base percentage, and only 10 plate appearances. This is his 11th. And the pitch from Guardado is grounded out to the right side for a base hit. Rounding third and staying there is Fullerton. but the Chinooks are in business here in the bottom of the second.
Nice smack there from Vandover, right in the hole between first and second. Gives the Chinooks a really good chance to threaten here early in the ball game, as it's really been a pitcher's duel so far as we're in the bottom half of the second. They'd love to get a run here for the home fans.
Well, with runners at the corner, 1 out. Miners will look for a double play as Gregory Osuna, the shortstop, comes in to face Jonathan Guardado. And the pitch from Guardado is fouled straight back and over the press area for strike 1. So 0-1, 1 out, runners at the corners. Osuna batting 176 on the short season so far. Batting from the right side as Guardado steps off the mound. The 0-1 to Osuna. Swung on and another foul ball. Just got a piece of it. So the count falls to 0-2. As Guardado will have to pitch out of some trouble yet again. No runs are in. As Guardado sets and deals, the base runner is stealing, and he gets it without a throw. So Luke Vandover steals second base, and now there are 2 runners in scoring position with a 1-2 count to Osuna.
BTO not really a good chance to throw down to first as Vandover is already on the move and the pitch in the dirt. Nice block, though, for VTO to keep it in front of him.
Pitching from the stretch, Guardado's pitch is fouled off towards the right side. Another souvenir for a lucky fan. 341 getting a shout out. So the count remains at 1-2, 1 out here in the bottom of the second. Runners in scoring position. There's no score. The pitch from Guardado swung on and just fouled off. Osuna being able to get a piece of it. Osuna, 6'1", 175 pounds from Wayland Baptist University. He's from the Dominican Republic. As he taps this one over to second base, first baseman fields it, and the flip over to Guardado is in time for the out. But now, 2 runners will score. I didn't see what happened, and it looks like the ball was thrown away as Guardado tried to get the runner at third. So 2 runs are in on the error. 1 earned, 1 is not. As the Chinooks take a 2-0 lead here in the bottom of the second.
Yeah, Guardado, after receiving the throw at first, rounding third was Vandover, with pretty aggressive with his rounding of third, and Guardado tried to throw down to third and was just high over Swift's head as it went all the way to the fence, therefore allowing Vandover to score.
So the Miners get another out, 2 outs here in the bottom of the second, but 2 runs will score.
For safety and liability purposes, we appreciate your cooperation.
Pitching coach Jeff Erlab from Horizon High School going out there to settle down Guardado. As the Chinooks are now back to the top of their lineup. Coming into today, Seth Ballinger. His batting average of .333, increased that with his leadoff single as he takes the first pitch from Guardado.
Ballinger surprisingly looking to bunt with 2 outs.
Trying to take advantage of the wetlands infield turf. as the second pitch is too low for ball 2. 2-0 the count, 2 outs, 2 runs are in. Guardado's pitch is in there for a called strike. So Jonathan Guardado. 2 runs here already given up in the second as this is hit out into left field. Danny Wright eyeing it up, makes a one-handed grab, and the side is retired. So on 2 hits, an error, and 2 runs with nobody left on base, the Chugiak-Eagle River Chinooks take a 2-0 lead. You're listening to the Mat-Su Miners on the Miner Radio. And welcome into the top of the 3rd inning. It's Mat-Su Miners and the Chugiak-Eagle River Chinooks. The Chinooks took a 2-0 lead off of a error and a single in the top half, or the bottom half of the second. First pitch into Danny Wright is in there for a called strike. Danny Wright, Brett Owen, and Braden Merritt due up for the Miners here in the top of the 3rd. As it's strike 2 to Danny Wright. Wright leading the Alaskan Baseball League in batting average. He's batting .438. 16 at-bats, 7 hits, 4 RBIs. And he's hit by the pitch. So a painful way to get on base. But Danny Wright does so. As the Miners get their leadoff batter on and try to get a couple runs.
Got to sting a little more as it's chilly out there. That always makes the hit by pitches hurt just a tad bit more.
I know they say we got ice, but I don't know if he wants ice right now. That is cold. So Brett Owen, second baseman, attempting a bunt, fouls it straight back.
NFL ball sponsored by Representative Dan Sattler.
Count goes to 0-1. The Chinooks scored 2 in the bottom of the second. As we are here in the top of the 3rd. Runner on first, Jared Rickladis on the mound, and he's going to pick off throw to first, Danny Wright back sliding. Rickladis from Sheboygan, Wisconsin. Hope I pronounced that correctly. And the pitch, a curveball, a little bit too high and inside to Brett Owen as he ducks out of the way. 1-1, nobody out here in the top of the 3rd. Owen batting .188 on the short season so far. And as he swings and bounces it off the mound to the second baseman, who underhand tosses the shortstop and over to first in time for the double play. So even though Danny Wright gets on base with a hit by pitch, Brett Owen double play, erases the runners. And Brady Merritt will step in now with 2 outs. Vandover to Osuna, over to Dopp. A 4-6-3 double play. And Brady Merritt, first pitch swing. Puts count at 0-1. Pitch from Rick Latis is in there for a called strike. And quickly the Miners are down 0-2. Merritt takes the breaking pitch too far outside for ball 1. 1-2 the count, 2 outs. Chinooks leading the Miners 2-0. And Brady Merritt nubs this one back up to the pitcher. Toss over to first in time, and the side is retired. So no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. The Chinooks come to the plate on the bottom of the third. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio. We're here in the bottom of the third inning. The Chinooks are leading the Miners 2-0. As number 18, Bailey Collins, the right fielder, steps in to face Jonathan Guardado. Guardado giving up 2 runs in the bottom of the second, 1 earned. And his first pitch is fouled back. Oh, and 1 the count. Nobody out. Guardado deals. Ball's in the turf. 1-1. So Bailey Collins got on base with a walk his first time up. As Guardado's pitch is taken too low. Puts count at 2-1. Collins batting .313. 20 plate appearances. Takes a pitch too far outside. He's ahead in the count 3-1. The 3-1 swung on and fouled back towards the left side. And the count is full. 3-2, nobody out. Bottom of the third inning. Jonathan Guardado on the mound. Bailey Collins at the plate as he swings and pops this one up towards the left side. Drew Swift ranging over, but he won't have room as it's at play. So we'll do the 3-2 again. And the payoff pitch from Guardado. Swung on and missed, strike 3. So after falling behind 3-1, he gets Bailey Collins swinging for the first out of the bottom of the third.
Coronado now with 3 strikeouts, and it has to feel good to start out this inning with an out, especially a strikeout, considering last inning he did let a runner on, and therefore it turned into 2 runs being scored. So better start this inning for Coronado.
Jordan Wharton, first pitch swinging in right to Tyler Bassetti. Didn't even have to move. So quickly now for the Chinooks, there are 2 outs.
Ball came off the bat looking like it was going to rise, but Bozetti was thinking the same thing and happened to just drop right in where his glove was.
Well, it was a good thing Bozetti got the glove out there first because that was hit right towards his head. Designated hitter Nick Kreutzer takes a first pitch from Guardado in there for a called strike. Kreutzer struck out his last time up. Batting from the left side. He takes a pitch in there for a called strike. He's quickly down 0-2. Oh, 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. Pitch from Guardado, swung on and tapped to the pitcher. Guardado throws it over to first in time. Close play, but in time for out number 3. So no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. As the Matsu Miners are coming to the plate in the top of the 4th, Brad Walker will have the call for you. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio.
Welcome back into Lee Jordan Field here in Chugiak, Alaska, as the Chinooks lead the Miners currently 2-0. Nothing happening in that third inning as we see 2 goose eggs out there. And joining me as my fellow commentator Connor Mills takes a quick break is Miners pitcher Josh Haley. And welcome into the broadcast, Josh.
Yeah. Got a little devil batting, Drew Swift.
So the first pitch to Swift is lined out to the right field line. Just misses in foul territory, so Swift will go down in the count 0-1. Swift so far in the day is 0 for 1, struck out back in the first inning in his first at-bat. Struck out looking to do a little better this time around, as he is so far 4 of 19 on the season heading into this game. As he looks at a pitch blown away for ball 1, evens up the count at 1. 1-1. Rick Ladis is smacked into left center field and caught by the left fielder Largusa. So Drew Swift will be set down on a line drive for out number 1 of the inning. So Josh, now that we have you in the booth, what are your thoughts so far on Alaska?
Oh, a little nervous. My 4th day, 5th day out here from long flight from Los Angeles, California, but just enjoying it. A lot of great views and happy to be out here just playing baseball and just having a great time.
Good to hear. Shortstop Tyler Bozetti steps in from the right side of the plate with 1 down. He slaps one high into center field, taking a few steps in as Bollinger. He's camped under it and can of corn for out number 2. So the Miners still in search of that first hit. This game, they had 12 in game 2 of the doubleheader yesterday, scoring 5 runs and looking for more of that production right now. As stepping in as the right fielder, Hunter Jump, grounded out to the pitcher in his first at-bat. So with 2 down, Recoletis winds and delivers. Misses low and in to jump for ball number 1 in the count.
Yeah, Hunter Jump was a guy DH'd a lot against us at Arizona, and he led off, and he really carried his team on the Saturday win against us, for sure.
As Jump looks at a strike on the outside edge. Sun's starting to peak out here in Chugiak. You mentioned about an hour before game time, it was downpouring. Jump takes another ball on the low part of the plate. 2 outs here in the top of the 4th inning. Chinooks lead the Miners 2-0. Recoletis pitch misses inside. That bounces in. To make a hitter's count to Hunter Jump, it's 3-1.
Great count to hit him.
Jump with 4 doubles so far on the season. 4 of his 5 hits have been doubles. The 3-1 to Jump. Bounces one into the middle of the plate, ranging over from shortstop. The throw from Ozuna just in time to end the inning. So once again, the Miners go 3 up and 3 down in the top half of the 4th inning. And the score will stay Chinooks 2, Miners 0 as we head in the bottom half of the 4th. Welcome back into Chugiak, Alaska. Chinooks leading the Miners 2-0, entering the bottom half of the 4th inning. I'd like to give a special shout out and thanks to our man joining us in the booth today, left-handed pitcher for the Miners, Josh Haley, for his work on the analysis in the top half of the 4th inning. Josh will have to head back to his duties checking the velos of pitcher Jonathan Guardado. So my good friend Connor Mills joins me back on the broadcast. Stepping in to lead off the inning is Jaron Largusa. Largusa looks at ball 1, bouncing in the dirt on the outside half of the plate. Largusa struck out swinging in his first at-bat. The 1-0, Guardado winds and delivers, misses again, bouncing it in the turf. Connor, we struggled with this in Anchorage. We have to say turf instead of dirt.
Yes, we do. It's that half and half mix. Half turf, half grass.
Guardado's 2-0. In there for a strike. Nice fastball on the inside corner. And Guardado was really a dominant pitcher his senior year of high school. Went 14-0 with a .33 ERA as he misses high and in 84 2/3 innings pitched. I tell you what, if I'm facing Guardado in high school, that's just not a man you want to see on the mound. That's his 3-1. Gets Largusa to swing through to make the count full. .33 ERA. That's incredible. The 14-0 record is even more impressive. Count is full to Largusa. Guardado's pitch. Fouled back by Largusa.
Well, we even saw in the MLB draft, some of these pitchers had a sub-1 ERA, but they were like 9-1, 8-2. Like, he had his team behind him to get those wins.
Which definitely helps out when you're out on the mound. Having that confidence, knowing you have people behind you to help back you up. The 3-2 pitch is swung on and missed by Largusa. He is set down on strikes for the 2nd time tonight for the first out of the inning. Guardado's fourth strikeout of his opening campaign as a minor. Coming in just a few days ago for the Miners. One of those late arrivals. Still waiting on a few more guys who are in the College World Series. As Guardado misses high and away to J. Paul Fullerton, the catcher. Base hit in his last at-bat. Actually came around and ended up scoring on a fielder's choice. For the first of these two Chinook runs, as Fullerton smacks one over to the right side, foul. Chinooks lead the Miners by a score of 2-0 in the bottom of the fourth inning. And for the first time in 4 games, the Miners will be playing all 9 innings as they had back-to-back doubleheaders, one on Friday and one on Sunday against the Glacier Pilots. As Guardado gets Fullerton swinging through to move ahead in the count 1-2. As I should say, both doubleheaders against the Glacier Pilots. Guardado winds and delivers. He'll miss. Ball bouncing in the turf.
And to go back to some of those Miners who we have yet to receive, we wish Mississippi State good luck as they head out to Oklahoma. More specifically, Denver McQuarrie and Josh Hatcher. Good luck to them, and we'll see you when you get here.
Guardado's 2-2, gets Fullerton swinging through. That was in the dirt. So Vitia throws down to ensure the strikeout. Guardado starting out this inning with 2 straight strikeouts against the Chinooks.
And really after the second inning, he's settling in, getting into a groove, getting a couple more strikeouts.
And now with the tally up to 5 strikeouts, the Miners still trail the Chinooks with 2 outs in the bottom of the fourth inning. As Danny Dopp, the right-hander, steps into the plate. Checks at this first pitch. Did he go? He did for strike number 1. Danny Dopp with a sacrifice bunt in his first at-bat in the second inning, which inevitably allowed for a run to end up scoring. As Guardado misses low and in the middle part of the plate for ball 1, the at-bat. Guardado's 1-1, winds and delivers. Misses low and in. Wind still blowing in from center field here in Lee Jordan Field as we're sort of ducked in the valley. That's fouled off by Dopp over to the right side. Ducked into the valley, have a nice, pretty giant hill out in left field, really starting from left foul territory into center, and then the mountains over from center to right. As Dopp smacks a line around the right field for a base hit with 2 outs to keep the Chinooks alive here in the bottom of the fourth inning. They still hold that 2-0 lead. Nice piece of hitting there from Danny Dopp.
Yeah, he was able to take it the opposite way. Didn't try to do anything special with it. Some people get a little pull happy, but he's happy just getting the base hit. Now he's standing on first.
Well, with 2 strikes, he definitely had to protect and really hit it where the pitch was. And it had to feel good that he was allowed to swing away this at-bat, considering he had a sacrifice in his last at-bat. So we'll have time here as head skipper Ben Taylor heads to the mound. May have a pitching change, and we will. So we'll take a quick break here on Matsu Minor Radio as the Chinooks lead the Miners 2-0 in the bottom of the fourth inning. And with 2 outs, we'll see a pitching change for the Miners. We'll be right back on Matsu Minor Radio. 2 outs in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Pitching change for the Miners as they trail the Chinooks 2-0 currently. Stepping in is 16 Jacob Butcher, the right-hander. Butcher, a hometown kid out of Wasilla, Alaska, attends Minnesota Crookston. And Butcher started game 1 of the doubleheader on Friday against the Glacier Pilots, where he went 5 innings, gave up 6 hits on 5 runs, 4 of which were earned. Really, I believe it was the 2nd inning in which Butcher gave up all of his runs. Other than that, Connor, he was pretty dominant.
Yeah, Butcher, again, we're very early on into the season. We've said it before. We're going to keep saying it until it's not. Everybody's kind of shaking off the rust. They're getting out there. They need to play a little bit more. Now, that's kind of what head coach Ben Taylor's doing. He's mixing and matching. Today we saw the change. Now Drew Swift's over at third and Bassetti's over at short. See different positions, get a different feel for what these players can do.
As Butcher steps into relief, he'll relieve Jonathan Guardado, who had a nice opening start for the Miners, went 3 2/3, gave up 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 of which was earned, and 5 strikeouts through those 3 2/3 innings. So nice debut for Jonathan Guardado. Fortunately, not in line for the win after giving up the 2 runs. Nevertheless, Miners are still definitely in this ball game in the bottom of the 4th, as they are down 2 against the Chinooks. Butcher's first pitch is high and in. It's actually around Van Dover's eyebrows. So he'll miss for ball 1. Danny Dopp stands on first after getting the 2-out single in the last at-bat. Butcher comes in. He'll have to be from the stretch. His 1-0 fouled straight back. Almost really right in front of our booth. As relief pitcher Asa Lacey makes a quick cameo on the stream. So Butcher with a 1-1 count to Van Dover. He checks over at Dopp at first. Sliding back in time is the Chinooks first baseman. So 2 outs. We're sitting in the bottom of the 4th inning. Chinooks at the plate. They hold a 2-0 advantage over the Miners. Butcher's pitch is lined over to third. Swift diving. Can't quite make the catch. That'll go into left field. Wright picks it up. His throw down to third is not in time. So with 2 outs, Van Dover delivers a stand-up double to give the Chinooks 2 men in scoring position. Excellent hustle play there by Swift, laying out, trying to make the dive. Just missed it as it nipped the end of his glove.
Swift always laying out, whether he's at short or at third, giving up his body to try to make the play.
So just as we thought the Miners were going to cruise through this bottom half of the 4th inning off the opening 2 strikeouts, the Chinooks have rallied and gotten 2 hits to place 2 guys in scoring position with 2 down. Jacob Butcher delivers a ball on the upper half of the zone to Gregor Ozuna, shortstop, who had an RBI ground out in his last at-bat. 1-0 from Butcher. Nice slow breaker from Butcher. Had Ozuna really on his toes and well out in front of it. Ties up the count at 1. Chinooks runners on second and third with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. They lead. Ozuna chops one over to short. Bozetti comes up and makes the play to end the inning. So Butcher comes in with a little bit of a jam, but works his way out of it, and the score will stay at 2-0 Chinooks as we move into the bottom half, into the 5th inning here in Chugiak. Miners bringing out the bats as they trail 2-0 to the Chinooks. Chinooks, I beg your pardon. In the top half of the 5th inning, stepping in for the Miners in the right side of the dish is catcher David Avitia. And Avitia came on to pinch hit in Game 2 yesterday against the Glacier Pilots. Didn't get a hit, but did reach on an error, which led into not necessarily him, as there's a pinch runner to come in to tie the ball game. So definitely a vital at bat yesterday for Avitia as he takes strike 1, low and in. Jared Rickladis cruising right now through this Miners lineup as we're through 4 innings and no hits given up, as Avitia smacks one over to third. The throw over just in time by Wharton. Nice play there by the third baseman for the Chinooks, Jordan Wharton, as he dove, made the nice throw across the diamond for out number 1.
Really nice play from Wharton. You know, just got the tip of his glove on the ball, able to get it, and of course made the strong throw.
So stepping in is the designated hitter, lefty Aaron Walters. Slices one foul over to the left side for strike number 1. And Walters fouls another one over to the left side.
Let's say it, that foul ball is sponsored by Edward Jones Financial Investment and Gavin Reed.
So the 0-2. Walters falls behind early. The pitch from Rickladis gets Walters swinging through a high fastball for strike number 3. That's Rickladis' third strikeout of the game, out number 2 of the inning. So Chuniak-Eagle, the tall left-handed hitting first baseman, steps in. Miners still in search of that first hit. The bats were hot yesterday, scoring 8 runs in the first game of the doubleheader and then 5 off 12 hits in the second game. But today, along with the weather, they've sort of cooled off as Quiggle swings through a first pitch strike. Quiggle grounding straight back to the pitcher in his first at-bat as he looks at strike 2 on the outer half of the plate. Counted 0-2 with 2 down in the top of the 5th inning. Miners in search of their first hit as they trail 2-0. Quiggle looks at a ball 1 over to the left side. Chuniak-Eagle, one of these hot bats in the Miners lineup, entering this game 6 of 18. So he fouls one high off to the left side. And the Miners really right now looking to get anything going, as there's 2 outs here in the 5th inning. So we approach about the midway point of this game. Rickladis is 1-2, kicks and delivers, misses, low and in. Count tied up at 2 with 2 down. Rickladis kicks and deals. This is low and in the middle of the plate, so Chuniak-Eagle, after falling down early 0-2, has worked his way into a full count with 2 outs in the top of the 5th.
Oh, good plate discipline from Quiggle.
The payoff pitch from Rickladis hits that outside corner. Chuniak-Eagle in disbelief as he was halfway down the first base line. Nevertheless, that ends the visiting half of the 5th inning. Chinooks still leading the Miners 2-0 on the Matsu Miner Radio. Chinooks 2, Miners nothing as we enter into the home half of the 5th inning. Miners just can't get that offense going, as they've yet to see a hit and a base runner, rather, as the Chinooks step up to the plate with leadoff hitter Seth Bollinger. Bollinger 1 for 2 on the day, got a hit back in the 1st inning. Looks to grab another one and give the Chinooks some insurance. Jacob Butcher still stands on the mound for the Miners. He winds and will miss low for ball 1. Bollinger really an excellent job as a leadoff guy. 6 walks drawn so far in this early season. As he swings through a low pitch from Butcher to tie up the count at 1. Chinooks only threw 4 games, and Bollinger at 6 walks. Great production. Has came around and scored 4 times as well. 1-1 from Butcher. Fouled straight back by Bollinger. So Butcher ahead in the count 1-2. Butcher coming in for relief for Jonathan Guardado, who was today's Miners starter, making his Miners debut out of the University of Arizona. Butcher's 1-2. Gets Bollinger swinging. That dribbles over to the left side. Swift making the bare hand toss. Not in time as Quiggle came off the bag to ensure the catch. So the leadoff batter, Seth Bollinger, gets on for the Chinooks off the infield hit. Tough play there for Drew Swift, who did show off the Swift speed, but couldn't quite make the throw.
Yeah, Swift charging in, coming in hard. Made the barehanded grab, and it would have been a bang play, but Quiggle made the safe move, coming off the bag, making sure he gets the ball and doesn't go away.
Bailey Collins, the right fielder, standing in from the left side of the dish. Butcher's first pitch to Collins is dribbled over to the right side. Quiggle makes the play. Rather, it was called foul. Off the foot of Collins. As even the next hitter.
I really didn't see the foul call. I didn't hear anything. But it was right up that line. Could have been either way.
Nevertheless, that's the first strike to Collins, who takes a minute to regain his breath to get back in the hitting frame of mind. Butcher ahead of the count 0-1 as Bollinger stands over on first. Butcher from the stretch. Bollinger on the move. Nice hit and run as Collins laces a single out in the right field. So the Chinooks get their first 2 batters aboard here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Already with a 2-0 lead, they're looking to improve that.
Yeah, and Bollinger was tripped up going around second. He might have been able to go over to third, but he had to stay, find out where the ball was, didn't want to get doubled up, but it was nowhere near being caught. So a lucky break for the Miners, as only runners on first and second.
It was a hard hit ball there for Bailey Collins, so it would have been tough for Bollinger, even if he didn't slip to get over to third. Nevertheless, Jump would have had to make a pretty good throw to get him. So with the Chinooks have 2 runners on with nobody out, pitching coach Jeff Erlab takes a visit to the mound. And this will be a good time to thank our official sponsor of the Matsu Miners internet broadcast, the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska, and owner Jim Ruda. I'd like to thank them for sponsoring our official internet broadcast all season long. Once again, thank you to our official Matsu Miners internet broadcast sponsor, Napa Auto Parts of Alaska, and owner Jim Ruda. Bottom half of the 5th inning, stepping in is third baseman Jordan Wharton, who reached back in the 1st inning off an error and lined out to the shortstop Bozetti in his last at-bat. He has 2 men on, so a chance to increase to this 2-0 Chinooks lead. Butcher comes set, takes a glance over at second, looking to bunt is Wharton. He pulls back as it was a high breaker. Make the count 1-0. The Chinooks seem to enjoy playing small ball, getting guys over and in scoring position. They already have 1, but they would like to move Collins over to second as well. Butcher pitches. Once again, pulling back is Wharton, but Avita checked down to second. That was a great throw. It got him. What a play there from David Avita behind the plate. as he gets some recognition from his pitcher, Jacob Butcher. And Bollinger just got too aggressive with his secondary, and Avitia came up throwing down and nailed him for the first out of the inning.
Well, an even better tag from Bassetti. Bassetti, all he had to do was just reach down. It was a perfect throw from Avitia.
As Vitia throws down on the steal, just missed it as the throw dribbles into center. Merritt throws down to third, is not in time. So Collins steals second, and then off the throwing error will advance to third. A lot of things happening right now in the bottom half of the fifth inning. Just as we thought the Miners caught a break, Vitia couldn't quite go back-to-back on the throws. Now the Chinooks have a man on third with one out. Jordan Wharton now has a 3-0 count after all of that. The play that Avita threw down was a ball, and then the last pitch was a ball as well. So they intentionally walk Walton. They'll put him on board with first base being empty. That brings up designated hitter Nick Kreutzer. Kreutzer with 3 RBIs on the year, 0 for 2 on the day, would like to add to that total. Did Chinooks lead the Miners 2-0 in the bottom half of the fifth inning here in Chugiak. Jordan Field. Now the Miners have double play opportunity. Middle infield playing that way. Kreutzer, the lefty, facing the right-hander Butcher. He kicks and deals. Misses high. Vitia throws down. Just not in time as Vitia kind of hesitated, looking down at third, making sure that Collins wasn't going to run down with the steal from Wharton.
Well, without the hesitation, I think he gets him. Very strong throw, and it was a bang-bang play.
That throw just missed from Avitia. As now they're going to intentionally walk Kreutzer to load up the bases, which will allow a force out at every single base and a better chance for the Miners to get a double play and get out of the inning. As Butcher delivers ball number 2. Got to be careful with these intentional walk pitches. Don't want to leave one over the plate, as we've seen that a few times throughout baseball where pitches get left out in the middle. That's ball number 4, and Kreutzer takes his base. All aboard, ducks on the pond for the Chugiak-Eagle River Chinooks. Stepping in is Jaron Largusa with the bases juiced. Back-to-back intentional walks now from Jacob Butcher. He'll have to look to find the strike zone against Largusa. Try not to walk in that third run of the game. The Miners still trail in the bottom of the fifth inning, 2-0.
Well, the Miners really counting on that double play here, setting it up with loading the bases.
As corners play in the middle infield and double play depth. Outfield still playing regular depth. Butcher from the stretch. He'll look to deliver. Kicks and fires. Breaker in there for strike 1. Nice pitch there from Jacob Butcher. Started that well inside, and it came all the way in for strike 1. Largusa 0 for 2 on the day. Struck out twice swinging. A big time to get a strikeout is Palmer's very own Jacob Butcher. Looks to get out of this jam. His 0-1. Another breaker this time. This one misses a little low. To tie up the count at 1. Chinooks have all aboard here with 1 down. In the top of the fifth inning, they lead 2-0. Jacob Butcher comes set. His pitch gets Largusa swinging, so he'll go down in the count 1-2. Jacob Butcher looking to capitalize ahead in the count 1-2. 1 down. This will be a huge strikeout for Jacob Butcher. He looks in from a signal from Avitia. Comes set, the 1-2. Breaker gets Largusa swinging so far in front of that one that his bat went flying behind him. Big strikeout for Jacob Butcher for out number 2 of the inning. Now the Miners have a force out at any base to end the inning. as the left-handed hitting J. Paul Fullerton steps in. He's 1 for 2 on the day. Had a base hit back in the second inning, which he scored, ended up being the first of the 2 Chinooks runs. But Jacob Butcher looking to get out of this bases-loaded jam in the bottom of the 5th inning. Butcher from the stretch. Just misses high and outside. Over at third, Collins with quite an aggressive lead with Drew Swift not covering the bag. Swift more concerned about the defensive and trying to get it out with the unlikelihood that Collins would steal home. Butcher's 1-0. Just misses on the inside part of the plate. Make the count 2-0. Chinooks only leaving 2 on back in the first inning, as Jacob Butcher looks to have them leave 3 on. Swinging through an off-speed pitch, J. Paul Fullerton for the first strike in this at-bat. Chinooks have lost 3 in a row. They look to break that trend today against the Miners. Both teams coming in off a loss. Miners lost game 2, their doubleheader yesterday. Butcher's 1-2, lined into center field, rather drops. Nice play there from Bo Zetti for out number 3 of the inning. I tell you what, right when that came off the bat, that looked like it was heading to center. But Bo Zetti makes the grab nevertheless to end the inning. And the Miners trail 2-0. They are in search of their first hit. We'll see if they can get it when we come back on the Matsu Miner Radio. Welcome back into Chili Chugiak tonight. As the public address announcer making the joke that it should be build a snowman night. As the home team, the Chinooks, lead the visiting Miners 2-0. As we head into the 6th inning. The Miners right now no hits and haven't even gotten a runner on. So I'll let you listeners at home assume what that means. I don't want to say anything and jinx anything. But the Miners fans, I'm sure, would like to end that jinx.
I'll jinx it. I'll jinx it for the Miners. There's a no-hitter going on.
No-hitter, perfect game.
Perfect game.
Right now.
More times we say it, maybe we'll get a hit.
Danny Wright steps in, the switch-hitting left fielder. Batting lefty as he fouls one over to the right side. Batting lefty against the right-handed Reclatus, who we just mentioned is perfect through 5. Wright looking to get that first hit. One of the hottest hitters in this Miner lineup. 7 hits so far in this young season. He looks at ball 1 inside. Reclatus winds and fires. Hits that lower outside corner. 1-2. You know, I didn't want to say I wanted to jinx it. Obviously, being the visiting team broadcaster, most of the fan base is going to want to be jinxed, but don't want to be that guy.
I don't mind being that guy.
The 1-2 from Reclatus misses low and in. Danny Wright kind of had to hop out of the way of that one. The count's tied up at 2. You know, a perfect game is so hard to get. You would hate for just a broadcaster to jinx it. Wright hits one over to first and struggling to play it, but does end up getting the throw over there in time as first baseman Dopp. So Wright's retired to start this inning off. And Brett Owen steps in, right-handed hitting second baseman. Owen grounded into a double play. Or rather, there was not a perfect game. Danny Wright
pitch.
actually reached back in the third inning on a hit by pitch. So it still is no-hitter going on. As Reclatus misses low and away. I apologize. Looking at my scorebook, seeing no one was left on. That was due to Owen's double play ball, rather. So he looks at a strike on the outer half of the plate.
Well, either way, it was 15 up, 15 down.
So the no-hitter is still intact. Reclatus winds and delivers. Hits that lower outside corner for strike number 2. Brett Owen with 2 stolen bases so far, so if he can get on, he's speedy out there on the paths as he looks at the ball in the middle half of the plate. Ties up the count at 2. Miners trailing the Chinooks 2-0 in search of their first hit. Owen fouls one off to keep his at-bat alive. Reclatus, the big righty, stands in, pitching very efficiently today. His 2-2. Swung and missed by Brett Owen for out number 2 of the inning in the top of the 6th. Reclatus' 5th strikeout of the game. So definitely dealing out there on the mound for the Chinooks. And they needed it in search of their first win in 4 games, losers of 3 straight. Reclatus' first pitch to Braden Merritt. Misses high and away. Merritt having to use a new bat. Broke his bat back in the 3rd inning in his first at-bat. The 1-0 to Merritt. Merritt, the lefty, tries to drag bunt. The ball go off the plate. Playing in now are the corners. And possibility of Merritt's bunt. Merritt has the speed to reach on a bunt, as he's looking to do right now. Reclatus' pitch to Merritt is looked at for a strike by Merritt. He pulled back the bunt as we sit at a 1-2 count with 2 outs in the top of the 6th inning. Reclatus' pitch bounced back by Merritt. Keep this at-bat alive. That wind starting to blow hard from right to left. Reclatus is 1-2. This is on the outer half of the plate that tied up at 2. With the American flag really blowing now. The 2-2 to Merritt with 2 down in the top of the 6th. Swung and missed for out number 3 of the inning. So Reclatus keeps the no-hitter alive as we head in to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Miners still trail the Chinooks 2-0. New pitcher out there for the Matsu Miners. Number 12, the right-hander Nathan Bach out of Southeast Missouri.
Maybe sure to get your free Chinook
Bach coming in with some excellent appearances of relief so far for the Miners. Bach has appeared 2 games, pitched 2 1/3, and no runs given up. So looking to do much of the same as the Miners trail the Chinooks 2-0. Bach, the right-hander, he'll face first baseman Danny Dopp, right-hander as well. Bach comes in to relieve Butcher, who pitched 1 1/3, gave up 3 hits, no runs, with 1 strikeout in relief for starting pitcher Jonathan Guardado. Ever since that second inning, scoring has been quiet for both teams. So Bach winds and delivers his first pitch of the game. In there for a strike to Danny Dopp. Danny Dopp is 1 for 1 technically on the day. Back in his first at-bat, had a sacrifice bunt. The 0-1 to Dopp is lined over to right, ranging all the way back and over his head is Hunter Jump. That one's going to the wall. Dopp around first. He heads into second, where he'll stand up for a no-out double to begin the home half of the 6th inning. So Danny Dopp delivers big for the Chinooks. As the Chinooks now have had a base runner in every single inning except for the 3rd inning. As they hold that 2-0 lead, they're count up to 9. As they clearly lead that. Miners in search of their first. Stepping into the plate for the Chinooks is Luke Vandover, the second baseman. He has a man in scoring position with nobody out. Bach's first pitch to Vandover, low and away for strike 1. Vandover having quite the night. 2 for 2 with a single and a double. So Bach from the stretch takes a look over at second, lifts the leg and turns to check back Dopp. And the Chinooks have to be careful with Avita behind the plate, who's not scared to throw down to second. He's already picked 1 man off. As Bach misses low and away for ball 1. Sun is shining here in Chugiak, where earlier, about an hour or so before the game, did not look like it was going to be that way, with some downpours, which delayed the game a half an hour. Box 1-1, skied up to the right side. Over is Chuniak-Eagle, who jumps up on the fence to try to make the play. He can't get it, and he's a little shaken up as he goes towards the knee. Seems to be with a slight limp. Jogs back over to first. He seems like he's going to be all right as the count moves to 1-2. Excellent hustle play there from Chuniak-Eagle, trying to jump up that fence to grab the first out of the inning. And with a tight ball game, the Miners really need any out they can get, and Chuniak-Eagle willing to sacrifice his body to do so. As we see a rainbow out there in right field, ends in right field. The count 1-2 from Nathan Bach. His pitch. This is low and outside. Tie up the count of 2. Vandover with just 9 at-bats coming into this game. Now 4 for 11 on the season. Box 2-2 to Vandover. Fouled back straight to the cage. Even shakes where our camera's at just a little bit. Count stays at 2 with nobody out and a runner on second for the Chinooks. Runner in scoring position for Chugiak. They have nobody out off Danny Dopp's leadoff double. Count tied up at 2 with no one out in the bottom of the 6th inning. Box pitch misses low and away. That's been his miss with the slider so far in this at-bat. Is low and away. which would be virtually unhittable by a hitter, especially a right-hander facing the right-handed Bach. Count is full with nobody out. Chinooks lead the Miners 2-0. No one down. Chinooks have a man on second. Bach takes a deep breath, looks at second, and delivers. Smacked over to right field by Van Dover. One hopper to Jump, who throws into home, cut off by Quiggle, as there was no one on the move as Dopp stood up at third. And back-to-back innings, the Chinooks get their 2 leadoff men aboard off the Luke Van Dover single. Stepping in is Osuna, the shortstop. He's 0 for 2 on the day, but does have an RBI. Had an RBI ground out in his first at-bat, and we will see a time as pitching coach Jeff Erlab heads to the mound to talk to Nathan Bach. This break in the action, we'd like to thank our official sponsor of the Matsu Miners internet broadcast, the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska, and owner Jim Ruda. So Bach stepping in, Connor's been pretty dominant in his relief efforts, but sort of struggling out the gate so far as the Chinooks have runners on the corners with nobody out in this 6th inning.
He's going to have to dig deep, pitch a couple good pitches, and try to work around this jam.
So with no one out, runners on the corners, Ozuna steps into the plate, the right-hander, in search of his first hit and his 2nd RBI. Bach from the stretch, kicks and deals. Man on the move, Ozuna fouls that one off over to the right side. Little hit and run action for the Chinooks, who they've done multiple times tonight with runners on the corners. On third is Dopp, and over on first is Van Dover. The Chinooks already with a 2-0 lead over the Miners in the bottom of the 6th. As Bach steps off the mound to check back Van Dover. Van Dover does not have any stolen bases on the season. It seems like they're on the move as the Chinooks want to pull off a hit and run. Bach's 2nd pitch to Ozuna is fouled off to the right side again. This time, Van Dover is not on the move. He stayed home at first. As the count sits at 0-2, Bach ahead of Ozuna. This would be a big strikeout if Nathan Bach could get it. Bach 0-2. Ozuna grounds that one right in between short and third. So the Chinooks tack on one more in the bottom of the 6th inning. Great piece of hitting there on Ozuna's part as the shortstop Bozetti went over to cover the bag at short. And as he did, Ozuna placed one exactly where Bozetti wasn't. So the Chinooks take a 3-0 lead now, or rather extend their lead to 3-0 here in the bottom of the 6th inning with nobody out and have runners on first and second. So Ozuna now has 2 RBIs on the day as the center fielder Seth Bollinger steps in. Left-hander. Tea time called. The Chinooks with 11 hits, Connor, definitely brought the bats tonight. As we have some mosquitoes attacking us here in the booth. Bach kicks and delivers as Bollinger bunts it straight back for strike number 1. So Nathan Bach, that's his first run given up of the year as a minor. As we have a nice home crowd for the Chinooks. Bach's 0-1 pitch to Bollinger. Bollinger looking to bunts it straight back to Bach. Bach with a quick throw down to third. He got him. for out number 1. Nice defensive play off the mound there from Nathan Bach. Without any hesitation, fielded it and threw it right over to third.
Well, he jumped right off the mound. He knew exactly where he was going to go if he got the ball. And Swift got to the bag at third. Nice play all around.
So the Chinooks will still have runners on first and second with 1 out. So Ballinger reaches on a fielder's choice. Now stepping in is the left-handed batting right fielder, Bailey Collins, who looks to strike 1 low and in. That is not what you want to do with your sacrifice bunt. You want to place it somewhere that they're forced to make the play over at first. But Bach, as you just mentioned, Connor, hopped off the mound and got in, made the nice spinning throw over to Swift at third. So the Miners now have a chance to get a double play and get out of this inning with only 1 run given up. Bach's pitch to Collins misses up and away. Runners on first and second for the Chinooks. They lead 3-0. They tacked on a run earlier in this inning. Bach takes a long look at second and delivers. Gets Collins to swing through. He's ahead in the count, 1-2. As Bach's looking for his first strikeout of the day. Has 4 strikeouts so far in the season through 2 appearances. Bach's 1-2 to Collins. Gets Collins looking at a ball low at the knees. Count tied up at 2 with 1 down. Chinooks leading the Miners 3-0. Bach's 2-2. Bouncing in there to make the count full. So Collins, after falling behind 1-2, has worked this count up to full with runners on first and second and only 1 out in the bottom of the 6th inning. Bach looks in. Collins stands in with that open stance from the left side of the plate. Bach's full count pitch. Gets Collins swinging through. And Avitia throwing down, the throw just off the mark. And nice backup there by left fielder Danny Wright to make sure that Ozuna doesn't come around to score. And seemed to be confusion as head skipper Ben Taylor heads out to talk to home plate umpire, saying that's the 3rd out of the inning.
And he is correct. It is the 3rd out.
Would be the 3rd out, Connor. At least according to my book. That'd be Bach's first strikeout of the game. 3rd out. And they are saying that it is not the 3rd out of the game, Connor. I have down that Van Dover was out off the sacrifice bunt attempt.
Well, let's run through it.
And
We got Danny Dopp on base with a double. Van Dover got on with a single. Ozuna has an RBI and with a single. Then there was a fielder's choice where Van Dover was out at 3rd. That was Seth Ballinger. So that's out number 1. And now the strikeout by Bailey Collins, that'd be out number 2.
I believe the umpires are making the correct call, at least according to our book, unless we did miss an out, which could quite be possible. I believe that's what Coach Ben Taylor is arguing. Actually, I believe he is arguing that after Collins struck out swinging, he walked in front of Avitia, which therefore caused Avitia to kind of double pump and throw down to 3rd. Nevertheless, we have 2 outs as head coach Ben Taylor still arguing before he makes it back. He does make it back in time. So 2 outs in the inning as we see Jordan Warden step in, the right-handed hitting third baseman. The Chinooks have runners on first and second with 2 down as they lead 3-0. Bach checks over at second, looks down. Osuna.
So it was interference that Coach Saylor was looking at.
Bach's first pitch into Wharton. And so did the interference bring back the runners is what I'm wondering. Our colleague and left-handed pitcher Josh Haley is shaking his head yes. He is the current player, so we'll take his advice and say that that is why the runners went back. As Bach looks back the second base runner, Osuna.
So instead of an out with the interference, they just put the base runners back.
That is confirmed by our go-to guy, Josh Haley, who had an excellent performance on the mound yesterday in Game 1 of the doubleheader against the Glacier Pilots. The 0-1 from Bach. Misses low and in the middle part of the plate. Was a nice breaking pitch. May have to permanently make Josh Haley a fixture in our press box. He wasn't such a good pitcher, Connor. He might be in here all the time. Bach's 1-1. Misses low and away. Bring the count to 2-1. So 2 down in the bottom of the 6th inning. The Chinooks scoring earlier in this inning to improve their lead to 3-0. Bach comes set, his 2-1. Fouled well back over the right side. Ties up the count at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bottom of the 6th inning. Chinooks lead the Miners 3-0. And we'll see a time as David Avitia will run to the mound to chat with his pitcher. Seem to be looking over in the dugout, so I'd imagine one of the coaches giving Avitia some advice to go tell Bach on the mound. Could possibly be about the base runners. Or it could just be about a certain pitch pitching coach Jeff Erlab wants him to throw. Count tied up at 2. 2 outs. Third baseman, right-handed hitting Jordan Warden stands in against the right-hander Bach. Bach's 2-2. Kicks and looks back as Ozuna kind of jumpy out there near second with his lead. Bouncing close to third and then bouncing closer to second. Bach's 2-2. High and in, up near the numbers for ball 3. Count is full with 2 down. Crowd a little unhappy with that. I think it may have been intentional. But I'm sure Bach had no intention of that riding up and in. Count is full, 2 down. Chinooks have runners on first and second. Bach's payoff pitch. Runners on the move. Misses high and in once again. So the Chinooks will load up the bases for the second time tonight.
Well, and Bach's trying to get a better grip. You see him wiping his hand on his leg. You don't want to load the bases with a walk. So it's just a little control issue. Maybe a little slippery coming off the hand. But again, those up and in pitches, nothing was intentional.
That brings up the designated hitter and cleanup man, Nick Kreutzer. Kreutzer was intentionally walked in his last at-bat, therefore making him 0 for 2 on the day as he struck out back in the first and grounded out in the third. 2 outs, bases loaded for the Chinooks. They lead 3-0. Bach's first pitch into Kreutzer, in for a strike. Miners have worked their way into some jams tonight, have worked out of them for the most part, only allowing 3 runs so far. As Bach from the stretch kicks and fires. Nice big breaker to get in the zone for strike number 2. He's ahead in the count, and Nick Kreutzer 0-2. And with 2 outs, Nathan Bach definitely in control out there on the mound for the Miners. Bach comes set. The 0-2. Kreutzer grounds it back over to Bach. Bach jogs over, tosses over to first for the third out of the inning. No decision that is the third out. So that ends the sixth inning, but the Chinooks tack on one more. They lead 3-0 as we head into the final 3 innings of play, where you'll hear wonderful play-by-play man Connor Mills retake the call here on the Matsu Miners Radio.
It's the top of the 7th inning as the Matsu Miners are in search for their first hit of the game. Leadoff hitter, Drew Swift. So far today, Swift struck out in the first inning and flew out to left in the 4th. Looking to get the Miners on the board as he pops up the bunt attempt into foul territory. So Drew Swift hoping to get the Miners at least a 1 on the board. So far for them as he takes that pitch in for a ball. A lot of zeros from the first inning to the 6th inning. And then they hits and runs as he grounds this one back to the pitcher and fired over the first in time for the out. So Swift is retired as the first out of the top of the 7th inning. Chinooks leading the Miners 3-0. Rick Ladis has been dealing. He has a no-hitter intact through 6 1/3 innings pitched. And we'll keep on saying no-hitter until it goes broken, as this one is grounded over to third base from Bassetti. Throw to first is in time. 2 away. So quickly, the Miners have 2 outs here in the top of the 7th as they send their 3-batter, Hunter Jump, to the plate. Jump in the first inning. Grounded out to the pitcher. And then grounded out to short as he grounds out to the pitcher yet again. And in time. So 7 no-hit innings from Jared Rick-Layeth as the Miners are down from the Chinooks 3-0. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio. Welcome into the bottom of the 7th inning. Matsu Miners are still trailing the Chugiak-Eagle River Chinooks. They're trailing 3-0, and they have no hits to try to get a hit in either the top of the 8th or the 9th. But we are here in the bottom of the 7th. Jaron Lagusa, the left fielder, is at the plate. He takes the first one in for a strike. Lagusa today, 3 strikeouts as he attempts a bunt here, but it's going to be in there for a called strike anyway. So quickly down 0-2. Nathan Bach is still on the mound. Bach able to work out of some trouble, gave up run in the bottom of the 6th, but bases were loaded and he got out of it. As this one is lined to the second baseman Owen, he makes the catch, and there's one away. So one down for Nathan Bach here in the bottom of the 7th inning. He's hoping to hold the Chinooks to no runs and keep the Miners in this game. First, they're going to need a hit. J. Paul Fullerton, the catcher, flew out to the shortstop his last time up. He takes the first pitch for a ball. 1-0 the count, 1 out. Bach pitching from the stretch and misses high with the fastball. Count is 2-0.
Ever so important that these Miners relievers keep this game close. We just head near the end of this one.
That pitch misses just a bit high. Close pitch from Bach. The Bach now down in the count, 3-0 to J. Paul Fullerton. And the pitch in there for a called strike. Count now 3-1. We're coming to you live from Lee Jordan Field here in Chugiak, Alaska. Connor Mills, Brad Walker with you. As a pitch from Bach is lined out into left field, fielded cleanly by Wright. But Fullerton is on base now for the second time with his second hit of the day.
12 hits now for the Miners. Chinooks, rather.
A lot of hits. Only 3 runs as head coach Ben Taylor looks to come out, have a chat with Nathan Bach, and more likely than not, we'll see a pitching change, even though nobody's up in the bullpen.
I think actually head coach Ben Taylor just heading out to talk to his guys. It doesn't seem like anyone was up in the Miners' pen.
Oh, now somebody has a glove. Stretching around, getting loose. And Austin Pinerini out there to catch a bullpen. So Taylor, using all his time, home plate umpire is going to come and break it up. As Taylor now has a chat with him. So the meeting on the mound is broken up. And the Miners will have to deal with the base runner on first. As J. Paul Fullerton had a single. It's now Danny Dopp, first baseman. His first time up today, grounded out to third base. Second time had a single. And then a double. He takes the first pitch in from Nathan Bach for a ball. 1-0 the count, 1 out, runner on first. Bach to Dopp. This one's ground over to Owen. Owen flipping over to short and over to first in time, double play. So a nice double play to get out of some trouble here in the bottom of the 7th. The Chinooks are held scoreless here, but still lead the game 3-0. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio. It's the top of the 8th inning. The Miners in search for hit number 1 as they trail the Chinooks 3-0. Catcher David Avitia will look to get the first hit. And Brad, we'll keep on saying it. There's a no-hitter in hopes to jinx this. Jared Rekleith pitching a no-hitter on the mound. That's his first pitch into Avitia is a called strike. Avitia flew out to center field and then grounded out to third base. Second pitch, they're going to check it over to first base umpire, and it's going to be called a ball. Did not swing. So the count on Avitia, 1-1, as he fouls this one straight back. Shake up our camera a little bit. That puts the count at 1-2. So across the scoreboard, 2 runs scored against the Miners in the bottom of the second as a pitch to Avitia swung on and missed, and he's tagged out to complete the strikeout. Surek Layeth pitching a dominant game as he has a no-hitter intact through 7 1/3 innings pitched. Looking to break it up is the designated hitter, Aaron Walters. Walters today has struck out twice as he grounds this one into foul territory.
Got to remember that Walters has that pop in his bat so that he could spark a comeback maybe. He can blast one over the wall.
The 0-2 to Walters. Swung on and fouled off as he stays alive. The 0-2 to Aaron Walters is swung on and grounded up the middle. This one is fielded by the shortstop. Thrown over to first in time for the ground out. What a play from Osuna to get the out and retire Aaron Walters and keep this no-hitter intact. A hard ground ball up the middle. Osuna ranging over, making the play. And the Miners are still held hitless despite a good effort from Walters.
Tell you
So
what,
now at the plate, Chuniak-Eagle.
Tell you what, Connor, that's just one of those plays when everything is going right for you on the mound. That kind of stuff happens. So for the Miners, they're looking to break the unluckiness, but I tell you what, that was a great play over there by Osuna.
Well, if we go back and look at no-hitters through history, there is always that one special play that happens, and that could be here. As much as Miners fans don't want to see it, the Chinooks would definitely enjoy seeing a no-hitter in the home opener. So while I've been talking, the count now sits at 2-1 to Chuniak-Eagle. Quiggle in there to bat with 2 outs as he fouls one off of his leg. Quiggle, of course, earlier in the game, ranged over into foul territory and jumped up to the fence to try and secure an out for the Miners, but was unable to do so. Got a little twisted up. Was limping a little bit, but he's all right. So that foul ball off his leg must not have felt good. 2-2 the count. Ground ball over to first. This one is in fair territory. First baseman unassisted. And the Miners go down 1-2-3 yet again. So no hits, no runs, nobody left on base. And the Matsu Miners will look to break up the no-hitter in the top of the 9th. But this game is progressing to the bottom of the 8th. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio. This game between the Miners and the Chinooks is in the bottom of the 8th. The Miners are being no hit through 8. We're here in the bottom half. Sean Hughes, the new pitcher for the Miners. He steps in and hits the first batter he faces. Luke Van Dover is now trotting over to first.
We could hear that one hit Van Dover.
That was a thud. We'll see if we can get how fast that fastball was. 85 mile per hour fastball to hit Luke Van Dover. Courtesy of Josh Haley. So the first pitch now into Gregory Osuna, who just made an amazing play to keep the no-hitter intact. He swings on and misses a high fastball. Puts the count at 0-1. Sean Hughes, the pitch, bunted and foul. 0-2 the count, nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th. Miners trailing the Chinooks 3-0 as they face the threat of being no hit. The 0-2 to Osuna. Swung on and fouled off. Osuna just getting a piece of that one. Sean Hughes, 6'1", 240 pounds from Boston College, a junior there. As stolen base hit and run action, Gregory Osuna gets a single, rounding second, headed to third, sliding in is Luke Van Dover, and the Chinooks are back in business.
Another perfectly executed hit and run for the Chinooks. That's been their bread and butter all game, and that's what has helped them propelled to this 3-1 lead.
Well, Sean Hughes in his first outing didn't go the way he wanted it. His second outing fared much better. And now here in this third outing, runners at the corners as the Chinooks threaten to score, with Osuna stealing second base on the defensive indifference. So now 2 runners in scoring position for the Chinooks. And the leadoff guy, Seth Ballinger, batting from the left side. Sean Hughes' pitch is taken on the outside. Evens up the count at 1-1. So a hit by pitch to Luke Van Dover. Put him on base. Gregory Osuna, hit and run action. Put the runners at the corners. Osuna still on base. And that's where we find ourselves right now. 2-1. Nobody out. Here on the bottom of the 8th. Matsu Miners still trailing the Chugiak-Eagle River Chinooks. Hughes' pitch. Taken on the outside corner for ball 3. 3-1, nobody out.
Infield playing in just on the outskirts of the grass, as I say in quotations, as it's all technically field turf.
Hughes' pitch, swung on and grounded out to shortstop. Infield was in. It gets by Bazzetti. Round comes Van Dover. Here comes Osuna. He scores. And standing on first with a 2 RBI single is Seth Ballinger. Horns are sounding as the Chinooks take a 5-0 lead over the Matsu Miners here in the bottom of the 8th. So the infield was in. Ground ball over to short would have normally been fielded. This one hit a little too hard for Tyler Bassetti to get a glove on it. And Seth Ballinger is on first as he steals second base as an attempt Check that. David Avitia is able to throw him out. So David Avitia catches Seth Bollinger stealing as we get the first out of the bottom of the 8th. Hughes' pitch is too far low for ball number 1. Number 1 on the board. Number 2 in actuality. The third pitch into Bailey Collins is too low for a ball. Hughes misses low, and that's ball 4. So Sean Hughes having a rough go of it right now in the bottom of the 8th. Pitching coach Jeff Erlab will try to help him out.
He was just sort of struggling to find the zone coming in relief.
Hughes, a veteran. Lots of people look up to him, and at times he's the life of the clubhouse. Right now finds himself in some trouble, as 2 runs have already been in. There's a runner on first with the walk, Bailey Collins. They use all their time. Home plate umpire comes to break it up. And the batter will be Jordan Wharton.
Batting for the Chinooks, number 20, Jordan Wharton.
Number 20, Jordan Wharton. Come to the plate. Jordan grounded into a fielder's choice, flew out to the shortstop, was intentionally walked as he takes this ball from Hughes. Intentionally walked in the 5th, and then walked in the 6th. We are here in the bottom of the 8th. The Chinooks are leading the Matsu Miners 5-0. Pickoff attempt on Bailey Collins, not in time.
What's important about the Chinooks scoring 2 runs now is the Miners cannot tie it up with 1 swing of the bat if they only tack on 2 more of the Chinooks. And the Miners come back up to bat in the top half of the 9th inning.
Well, they're looking for their first hit, as they've been big goose egg underneath the hits column on the scoreboard. Sean Hughes with the long hold, and time will be called by Wharton. So Hughes hit Luke Vandover, Gregory Osuna, hit and run, got a single. Seth Bollinger as a swing and a miss from Wharton. Seth Bollinger, RBI, 2 RBI single. He stands. He was thrown out stealing by David Avitia as a pickoff attempt, not in time to get Bailey Collins, who stands on first via a walk. So Collins is stealing, Avitia popping up, and he elects not to throw. So a stolen base for Bailey Collins. And Sean Hughes will have to deal with another runner in scoring position. Runner on second, 1 out, 2-1 is the count. Pitch into Wharton is called a ball, 3-1. As Hughes will look to get out of the inning. Sean Hughes, the pitch in the dirt, ball 4. So he's walked Bailey Collins. Now Jordan Wharton. As Miners manager, Ben Taylor will look to come out And we'll see a pitching change. Looks to be Hank Boyer coming onto the mound. We'll verify that for you when we return. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio. So it is number 13, Hank Boyer, Alaskan native from Wasilla, Alaska. Boyer, 5'6", went to Dawson Community College, and is a freshman. So Hank will look to get the Miners out of this inning as he has runners at first and second. 2 runs are in already in the bottom of the 8th as the Chinooks lead the Miners 5-0. This is the home opener for the Chinooks here at Lee Jordan Field. And they have a no-hitter going. Jared Reclatus with the no-hitter. Hank Boyer on the mound from the stretch. First pitch is popped up into center field. Moving back is Merritt, taking a couple steps, and with the one-handed grab, he gets it. Merritt will try to attempt and throw out Bailey Collins, who tagged up, but it will not be in time. Collins tags on the fly ball from Nick Krutzer. So now there are 2 away with runners at the corners.
Nice blast there by Krutzer, as it's so hard for the ball to leave the park tonight. Not only is that wind coming in from center field, also it's chilly, so that doesn't help matters at all. Does help Miners pitcher Hank Boyer, though, to hit his first out in the first batter.
So now Jaron Lagusa takes the first pitch in from Boyer for a called ball. Lagusa struck out in the first, in the 4th, in the 5th, and lined out to the second baseman. He stands in here against Hank Boyer. Boyer coming in relief for Sean Hughes, who's unable to get out of it. And this one's fouled off. 1-1 the count, 2 outs, runners at the corners. Boyer on the mound, Lagusa at the plate. Looking over at first. Boyer's pitch. Curveball just missed. Not sure where, but the breaking pitch misses to put the count at 2-1.
Beats you there, kind of turn around and ask home plate umpire, where was that one?
So stolen base from Jordan Wharton on the defensive indifference. And the pitch in from Boyer is taken for a called strike. So 2 outs, 2 runners in scoring position. Boyer's pitch. This one is lined out into left field. That will fall for a base hit and maybe more. In comes 1 run. The second run is in. Over at second with a 2 RBI double is Jaron Lagusa. as the Miners fall behind to the Chinooks 7-0. 7-0 is the score. Jaron Lagusa with a 2 RBI double with 2 outs.
Nice hit there by Largusa. Allowed that breaking pitch to come in on his hands, and he waited until it broke in the zone. And when it did, he turned on it very nicely, lining one out in the left and driving 2 home.
So the first pitch into J. Paul Fullerton is a ball. Coming around to score was Bailey Collins and Jordan Wharton. And this pitch from Boyers popped up behind home plate. David Avitia eyeing it up, making the one-handed catch. And the side is finally retired. So at the bottom of the 8th, 4 runs have scored. As the Chinooks extended their lead, the Miners look to get their first hit and get something going here in the top of the 9th. No hit bid for Jared Ricklatis. We'll see if he can accomplish it at the home opener here at Lee Jordan Field. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio. The Chinooks tacked on 4 runs on 3 hits, left 1 on base in the bottom of the 8th, as they now lead the Matsu Miners 7-0. Back out on the mound is Jared Ricklatis. He's working on a complete game shutout. And oh, by the way, it's a no-hitter.
Indeed it is.
So the bottom half of the lineup, Danny Wright, Brett Owen, Braden Merritt, set to bat for the Miners. 2 pitches in to Danny Wright. Both are balls. As a no-hit bid continues here into the top of the 9th. Called strike to Danny Wright. 1-2. Jared Ricklatis from the windup. And the pitch. This one is lined out into center field. Moving over is Bollinger. Makes a one-handed grab. 1 out. And 2 outs away from some Chinook history here at Lee Jordan Field. Looking to spoil the no-hit bid is Brett Owen. The first pitch into Owen is taken on the outside corner for a ball. Owen so far in this game grounded into his 6-4-3 double play and struck out. The double play, and Danny Wright was the only base runner. Second pitch into Brett Owen is too low and outside for ball number 2. So 2-0, 1 away here in the top of the 9th. Ricklatis misses on the inside corner for ball number 3.
If Owen can just reach here, that's going to make Ricklatis work even harder for this no-hitter.
Jared Ricklatis. Fastball right down the middle for a called strike. 3-1 the count, 1 out. 7 runs, 14 hits for the Chinooks. No runs, no hits for the Miners. And ball 4 to Brett Owen. Owen is the first base runner for the Miners since the top of the 3rd inning when Danny Wright was hit by a pitch. This ensures that the top of the lineup will happen, excluding a double play ball here from Braden Merritt. First pitch into Merritt. This one is lined into center field, and the no-hit bid is finished. What a pitching performance from Jared Rickladis, as a no-hit bid is over. Those fans here at Lee Jordan Fields letting Rickladis know how much they appreciate him. Some applause from everyone here, and the Miners finally have 1 hit thanks to Braden Merritt.
He's going to stay out there. They're going to see if he can finish up the job for the Chinooks.
The no-hit bid is over, but the shutout is still intact. Drew Swift seeing if he can change that as well. First pitch into Swift is for a called strike. 0-1 the count, 1 out. Runners at first and second. Brett Owen on base with a walk. Braden Merritt breaking up the no-hitter with a single. The second pitch into Swift is a curveball that misses high. 1-1. Almost some history here, but Braden Merritt being the spoiler. Jared Rickladis pitching from the stretch. Finds the inside corner against Swift. Count now goes to 1-2.
Swift just very disapproving of that call, as earlier in the count it seemed as if there was a pitch in the similar location that was called a ball. This time it's a strike. Swift's not happy about the call.
The 1-2 from Rickladis. This one misses high for ball number 2. Two to Swift. Chinooks leading the Miners 7-0 here in the top of the 9th. And the pitch. This one is pop fly into shallow infield. Second baseman Vandover ranging over, makes a 2-handed catch. And now the Miners are down to their final out. The 3-batter, Hunter Jump. Or excuse me, the 2-batter, Tyler Bassetti. Now comes to the plate.
Tell you what, if this Miners team can pull this off down to their final out, somehow scramble up 7 runs, it'd be a Miner miracle.
First pitch into Bassetti is taken high for a ball. 1-0 the count, 2 outs here in the top of the 9th. The first hit for the Miners came from Braden Merritt, as he spoils Jared Rickladis' no-hit bid. The second pitch into Bassetti is fouled straight back and out of play.
If the Miners can just see one go across the plate, obviously they would like to pull off the unlikely and grab 7, but just to see 1 run, maybe more, would definitely heal the wound just a little bit on the road trip back home.
1-1 the count, 2 outs. Runners on first and second, and Bassetti fouls off Rickladis' pitch, and the Miners are now down to their final strike. Bassetti grounded out to third base twice, flew out to center once. He bats here with a 1-2 count, 2 outs here in the top of the 9th. Pitch from Rickladis just gets a piece of it and stays alive. Hunter Jump comes over, picks up the foul ball. Tyler Bassetti stays alive, 1-2. 1 hit for the Miners through 9. Bassetti looking to make that 2 hits. Jared Reclatus' pitch, the 1-2. This one is flowing out into center field. Center fielder Bollinger ranging over, dives, can't make the play. 1 run will score. Brett Owen comes in. Going to second base is Tyler Bassetti, as the Miners now break up the shutout bid as well. So a broken bat, looper into center field, brought Ballinger all the way in, and he could not make the play. We'll see how that scored. A hit or an error, as that would have been a tough one for Ballinger. But the Miners are now on the board with 1 run. Now batting the 3-batter Hunter Jump. First pitch to Jump. This is ground over to first base. Handled and stepped on from Danny Dopp. So in the home opener for the Chugiak-Eagle River Chinooks, a no-hit bid goes 8 1/3 of an inning. Jared Reclatus able to cool down the Matsu Minor bats as the Chugiak-Eagle River Chinooks defeat the Matsu Miners 7-1. Winning pitcher, of course, Jared Reclatus. Reclatus going a complete game. 2 hits, 1 run. Once again, your final. The Chinooks 7, the Miners 1. As the Miners now fall to 500 for the first time this season at 3-3. The Chinooks get their second win and now are 2-3 on the season. Next up for the Chinooks, they'll travel out to Anchorage to face the Bucks. And for the Miners, they host the Peninsula Oilers tomorrow at 7. Again, your final, the Chinooks 7, the Miners 1. This was an exciting pitching performance from Jared Reclatus. Brandon Merritt breaking up the no-hit bid deep into the 9th. But the Chinooks win this one 7-1. So for everyone here, I'm Connor Mills alongside Brad Walker. Thank you for listening in to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio. We'll see you tomorrow at 7 as Miners host the Oilers. Thanks for joining us.